This module gives information on Ship Energy Efficiency Management Plan, or SEEMP. The main aim of shipping energy management is to reduce energy costs and GHG emissions without compromising the operational and technical aspects of a ship's operations, in particular the safety, availability, and service life of the equipment, its reliability, and ease of use. The regulatory framework for shipping energy efficiency for new ships is to a large extent in place. For existing vessels, the SEEMP regulations can be implemented. SEEMP is only applicable to a specific ship and is used mainly on board ships, and its contents are primarily implementation orientated, which means that the strength of an SEEMP should be on how to implement the energy efficient measures at the ship level, together with a good definition of what has to be done and ship staff's roles and responsibilities. Upon completion of this module, you will be able to do the following: explain the principles of Ship Energy Efficiency Management Plan, or SEEMP, identify and understand different SEEMP measures, describe data collection templates, and calculate EEOI. A number of topics are covered. They include guidelines for the development of Ship Energy Efficiency Management Plan, what is SEEMP, main elements of SEEMP, the implementation aspects of SEEMP, and Energy Efficiency Operational Indicator, or EEOI. The IMO has adopted guidelines for the development of SEEMP, Resolution MEPC 213-63, from which most of the main features of a SEEMP are described in this section. According to IMO guidelines, the SEEMP establishes a mechanism for shipping companies to improve the energy efficiency of their ships' operations. The SEEMP also provides an approach for monitoring ships' efficiency performance over time. The SEEMP urges the shipowner and operator that at each stage of the operation of the ship to review and consider operational practices and technology upgrade to optimize the energy efficiency performance of a ship. The purpose of a SEEMP is to establish a mechanism for a company and/or a ship to improve the energy efficiency of the ship during its operation. Preferably, the ship-specific SEEMP is linked to a broader corporate energy management system of the company that owns, operates, or controls the ship. The ship-specific SEEMP is needed since no two shipping companies or ship owners are the same, and ships operate under a wide range of different conditions, including geographical and commercial. The SEEMP is intended to be a management tool to assist a company in managing the ongoing environmental performance of its vessels. As such, it is recommended that a company develops procedures for implementing the SEEMP in a manner which limits any onboard administrative burden to the minimum necessary. The SEEMP should be developed as a ship-specific plan by the ship owner, operator, or any other party concerned. The SEEMP seeks to improve a ship's energy efficiency through 4 steps, which will be discussed in detail in the following slides. The SEEMP seeks to improve a ship's energy efficiency through 4 steps: planning, implementation, monitoring, and self-evaluation. Planning is the most crucial stage of SEEMP development. Planning involves a range of activities. These include determining the current status of ship energy usage, determining the expected improvements. Based on both of these, and through using further energy reviews or audits, a set of energy efficiency measures are identified and documented as part of the planning phase. The SEEMP planning activities do not stop at identification of EEMs, but include dealing with all aspects of planning for implementation, monitoring, and self-assessment of the identified energy efficiency measures. Therefore, the planning part for ship energy management and SEEMP is crucial and is essential to devote sufficient time to planning. Planning continued. The first step in energy management planning is to identify the energy efficiency measures to improve the energy efficiency of a ship. It is important to note that there are a variety of options for improving a ship's efficiency. And the best EEMS for a ship to improve efficiency will differ to a great extent for various ships, types, cargoes, routes, and other factors. It is recommended that the specific energy efficiency measures for each ship need to be defined. To do this, there will be a need for carrying out activities such as energy audits or energy reviews for the corresponding ship. The SEEMP should be adjusted to the characteristics and needs of individual companies and ships, and therefore each ship will have its own ship-specific plan. Coordination between stakeholders is important, and to this end, the company should do the coordination rather than the ship. Therefore, IMO recommends that a company should establish a company energy management plan to manage its fleet and ensure that stakeholders coordinate. This will also reduce the work burden on shipboard staff. Raising awareness and providing necessary training for personnel, both onshore and on board, are an important element. Such human resource development is encouraged and should be considered as an important component of planning, as well as a crucial element of implementation. Additionally, the company should implement procedures which limit any on-board administrative burden. Company management should define and communicate the company's values and aspirations and detail how the company intends to achieve the objectives of their energy policy, including the identification of roles and responsibilities, the setting of targets, and ways of monitoring performance. According to IMO guidelines, goal setting for SEEMP is voluntary, and there is no need for goals to be made public or be subject to external inspection. The purpose of goal setting is to increase a commitment to improving energy efficiency, and thus the IMO guidelines encourage companies to set goals. The goals should be measurable and easy to understand. They can take any form, such as annual fuel consumption, EEOI targets, or other items. A goal will be a measure indicator and will be used to evaluate if the set objectives are met. The establishment of an implementation system. A system for implementation of the selected energy efficiency measures needs to be defined through developing the procedures, tasks, and assigning roles and responsibilities. The SEEMP should describe how each measure should be implemented and who the responsible person or persons are. The implementation period, start and end dates of each selected measure need to be indicated. The development of such a system can be considered as part of planning and therefore may be completed at the planning stage. According to IMO guidelines, the planned EEMs should be carried out in accordance with the predetermined implementation system. Record keeping for the implementation of each EEM is beneficial for self-evaluation and needs to be encouraged. It can be noted that without prior implementation of energy efficiency measures, the energy management objectives could not be completed. The assignment of responsibilities for various energy efficiency measures, together with implementation processes and schedules, are important indicators that energy efficiency management implementation is working properly. Record keeping is important not only for monitoring purposes, but also for use during self-assessment and to inform the next planning phase of the continuous improvement cycle. In a SEEMP, the monitoring aspects also need to be clarified at the planning phase. Consistent data collection provides the foundation for monitoring. To allow for meaningful and consistent monitoring, the monitoring system, including the procedures for collecting data and the assignment of responsible personnel, should be developed. The development of such a system can be considered as part of planning, and therefore should also be completed at the planning stage. Self-evaluation and improvement is the final phase of the management cycle. This phase should produce meaningful feedback for the next improvement cycle. The purpose of self-evaluation is to evaluate the effectiveness of the plan measures and of their implementation. For this process, procedures for self-evaluation of ship energy management should be developed. Furthermore, self-evaluation should be implemented periodically by using data collected through monitoring. There are a number of measures that can be implemented to improve energy efficiency. A few of these measures are listed on this slide, and they have been discussed in detail in other modules. The SEEMP will, at a minimum level, include the following elements. 1. Ship identification details. 2. Energy efficiency measures and how they should be implemented. 3. Responsible persons and timelines. 4. Monitoring aspects. 5. Goals. This is optional. 6. Evaluation aspects. The following templates can be downloaded from the MTCC Pacific website, together with the SEEMP instruction manual. A summary of SEEMP guidelines. As has been noted, the SEEMP framework is based on a plan, do, check, act, continuous improvement cycle. When developing SEEMP, all the above elements need to be defined at the planning phase. At its core, SEEMP has a number of SEE measures together with the following: implementation methods, monitoring and checking, self-assessment, roles and responsibilities, processes and procedures. Energy Efficiency Operational Indicator, or EEOI, is one element of the IMO regulatory framework that is intended to act as an energy efficiency performance indicator during the operational phase of a ship, and also be used to monitor overall ship energy efficiency performance. IMO guidelines MEPC 1 Circ 6849 provide the methodology and basis for EEOI development and calculation. In this section, extracts of the guidelines are provided in order to understand further the EEOI purpose and method of calculation. Additionally, information will be provided on the experience so far in the use of EEOI. The purpose of EEOI is to establish a consistent approach for measuring a ship's energy efficiency for each voyage or over a certain period of time. The EEOI is expected to assist ship owners and ship operators in the evaluation of the operational performance of their fleet. It is hoped that it will enable the monitoring of individual ships in operation and thereby the results of any changes made to the ship or its operation. The objective of the IMO guidelines is to provide the users with assistance in the process of establishing a mechanism to achieve the limitation or reduction of GHG emissions from ships in operation. The EEOI guidelines are intended to provide an example of a calculation method which can be used as an objective performance-based standard, which can be used The basic expression for EEOI for a voyage is set out on the slide. The unit of EEOI depends on the measurement of cargo carried or work done. For example, tons CO2 stroke tons nautical miles, tons CO2 stroke TEU nautical miles, tons CO2 stroke persons nautical miles, and so forth. It should be noted that the equation does not give a simple average of EEOI among the number of voyages, and therefore the simple averaging of the voyage's EEOI must be avoided. Instead of using the average value as a performance indicator, calculation of the rolling average is used. To help with consistent estimation of EEOI, the following definitions are provided in the EEO guidelines. Fuel consumption. This is defined as all fuel consumed at sea and in port or for a voyage or period in question by the main and auxiliary engines, including boilers and incinerators. Distance sailed. This means the actual distance sailed in nautical miles. Voyage. This generally means the period between a departure from a port to the departure from the next port. Alternative definitions of a voyage could also be acceptable. The EEOI guidelines are applicable for all ships performing transport work. The types of cargo are generic and include, but are not limited to, all gas, liquid, and solid bulk cargo, general cargo, containerized cargo, heavy lifts, frozen and chilled goods, timber and forest products, cargo carried on freight vehicles, cars and freight vehicles on ro-ro ferries, and passengers. The EEOI should be a representative value of the energy efficiency of the ship operation over a consistent period, which represents the overall trading pattern of the vessel. In order to establish the EEOI, the following steps will generally be needed. Define the period for which EEOI is calculated, or the voyage. Define data sources for data collection. Collect data. Collect EEOI. Port operation and ballast voyages, as well as voyages which are not used for transport of cargo, such as voyages for docking service, should also be included. Voyages for the purpose of securing the safety of a ship or saving life at sea should be excluded. Ideally, the data recording method used should be uniform so that information can be easily collated and analyzed to facilitate the extraction of the required information. The collection of data from ships should include the distance traveled, the quantity and type of fuel used, and all fuel information that may affect the amount of carbon dioxide emitted. Documented procedures to monitor and measure on a regular basis should be developed and maintained. It is important that the sources of figures established are properly recorded, as well as the basis on which figures have been calculated, and any decisions on difficult or grey areas of data. This will provide assistance on areas of improvement and be helpful for any later analysis. In order to avoid unnecessary administrative burdens on ship staff, it is recommended that monitoring of an EEOI should be carried out by shore staff. Data can be obtained from existing records, such as the official and engineering logbooks, oil record books, and so forth. The necessary data can be obtained during internal audits under the ISM code, routine visits by superintendents, etc. The basic expression for EEOI for a voyage is shown first. The guidelines allow averaging of EEOI over a number of voyages, where the average of the indicator for a period or for a number of voyages is obtained. Primary data sources selected can be the ship's logbook, bridge logbook, engine logbook, deck logbook, and other official records. It is important that sufficient information is collected on the ship with regard to fuel type and quantity, distance traveled, and cargo type, so that a realistic assessment can be generated. The amount and type of fuel used, bunker delivery notes or other sources, and distance traveled according to the ship's logbook or other sources need to be documented by the ship on a consistent basis. The whole process may be automated if this is possible. The rolling average, when used, can be calculated over a suitable time period. For example, it could be 1 year or a number of voyages, for example 6 or 10 voyages, which are agreed on as statistically relevant to the initial averaging period. The rolling average EEOI is then calculated for this period or number of voyages by the second equation, which was shown earlier. For a voyage or a period such as a day, data on fuel consumption, cargo carried, and distance sailed in a continuous sailing pattern can be collected as shown in the reporting sheet here. This slide provides an example for calculations over 2 years for a container ship. It shows a significant variability from voyage to voyage. The reasons for changes could include the following: ship size, cargo level, ship speed, length of ballast voyages, idle and waiting times, weather and current, or measurement errors. Thank you. This slide completes the current module.